It is the 16th of September, 2003, Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Inside a luxury car dealership, a man adjusts a Rolex on his wrist. He asks for the keys to a vehicle parked on the showroom floor. This is the story of the stolen Ferrari F50. The 1996 Ferrari F50 is not a normal vehicle. It is a Formula One car built specifically for the street. It is number 29 of only 349 ever manufactured. It features a 4.7-liter naturally aspirated V12 engine. It produces 512 horsepower. It possesses no power steering. It has no power brakes. It lacks an anti-lock braking system. It is a raw, mechanical machine designed for professional racing drivers. Its price tag sits at $729,000. It is parked at Algar Ferrari and Maserati, a prestigious dealership located in a wealthy suburb of Philadelphia. The man standing in front of it calls himself Tom Baker. He is of medium build. He is clean-shaven with reddish-brown hair. He tells the sales staff he is the chief executive officer of a California technology company. He says he just flew in from Atlanta. He claims his limousine is currently parked at a nearby supermarket. He wants to buy the F50, but he has a condition. He needs to test drive it first. High-end exotic cars are rarely test-driven. The financial risk is simply too high. Dealerships require extensive background checks, proof of funds, and a signed offer sheet. But Baker is a very convincing man. He projects immense wealth. He projects total confidence. He projects impatience. The sales team agrees. They hand over the keys. But a salesman, Faisal Sajjad, decides to ride shotgun. They pull out onto Lancaster Avenue. The V12 engine screams. The design philosophy behind the F50 explains everything that happens next. Ferrari built it to celebrate their 50th anniversary. They took a 1990 Formula One racing block and bolted a carbon fiber tub directly to it. There is no rubber subframe to absorb the vibration. The engine acts as a stressed member of the chassis. Every bump in the road travels directly into the driver's spine. It requires immense physical strength to operate the heavy clutch. The tires are impossibly wide. They require intense heat to grip the asphalt properly. When the rubber is cold, the car operates exactly like a sled on pure ice. If a driver loses traction and abruptly lifts their foot off the accelerator, the sudden shift in weight causes an immediate snap oversteer. The rear of the car violently overtakes the front. It is a mechanical trap waiting for an arrogant driver. Baker understands this machine. He is a trained pilot. He understands complex machinery and severe consequence. He knows how to keep the massive tires warm. He knows how to modulate the heavy throttle. He respects the brutal physics of the vehicle. For 20 minutes, the test drive proceeds normally. Baker navigates the suburban streets with ease. He demonstrates absolute competence behind the wheel. Then, he pulls the car over on a quiet residential road in Villanova. He turns to Sajjad. He says he is completely satisfied with the performance. He says he's ready to buy the car. He asks the salesman to take the wheel and drive them back to the dealership. It is a completely standard request. Sajjad opens the passenger door. He steps out onto the pavement. He expects Baker to exit the driver's side. Baker does not. The heavy door slams shut. The engine revs. The clutch engages. Baker floors the accelerator pedal. The Ferrari F50 can reach 60 miles per hour in 3.8 seconds. It can reach 100 miles per hour in a fraction of a city block. Sajjad stands on the side of the road. He watches $729,000 worth of Italian engineering crest a hill and disappear. He is entirely alone. Investigators arrive shortly after. They expect to find a highly organized criminal syndicate. Stealing a hypercar requires intense logistics. You need a closed flatbed truck. You need an immediate secure location. You need a way to export the vehicle before its identification number is flagged globally. But there is no truck. There is no international syndicate. Baker simply drives the F50 away. He vanishes into the vast American highway system. For 4 long years, the car is a ghost. It becomes a persistent legend on internet forums. Car enthusiasts debate its location constantly. They assume it is hidden in a private underground collection in the Middle East. They assume it was chopped into pieces for spare parts. The insurance company pays out $625,000 to the dealership. The vehicle's title is officially transferred to Motors Insurance Group. The case goes entirely cold. It should be impossible to hide a bright red Ferrari F50. It is too loud. It is too rare. It draws a massive crowd at every single traffic light. Yet nobody sees it. Law enforcement databases show 0 hits. The truth is much simpler. Baker did not export the car. He did not shop it. He just drove it. He kept it in a standard brick house with a detached garage in a quiet suburb of Lexington, Kentucky. He is not a tech CEO. He is a commercial airline pilot. He is a divorced father of 2 children. He just really likes Ferraris. This is not even his first major theft. He previously stole a 1989 Ferrari 328 GTS from a North Carolina dealership. He stole a 1985 Testarossa from Long Island. He uses the exact same test drive scam every single time. He targets high-end dealerships. He projects supreme authority. He waits for an opening. He drives away. It works. A crime this brazen usually ends in a stupid mistake. The mistake happens in late 2007. Baker decides it is time to sell the F50. He finds a local buyer in Lexington, an emergency room doctor named Jaspier Dillon. The asking price is $375,000. This is roughly half the actual market value. Dillon buys the car immediately. He receives heavily forged title documents. He parks the Ferrari safely in his garage. He owns it for 2 quiet months. But Dillon is a thorough man. He wants to check the vehicle's long-term maintenance history. He contacts a local Ferrari network to run the vehicle identification number. The request hits a central database. The database immediately flags the VIN. It matches the stolen Algar F50. The National Insurance Crime Bureau receives an automatic alert. They contact Detective Joe Hess of the Lexington Metro Police Department. Hess is part of the Specialized Auto Theft Unit. He coordinates closely with the FBI. They trace the entire chain of custody. It leads directly back to Baker. Hess contacts the NYPD. He requests a photo lineup to be taken to the original salesman in Pennsylvania. 4 years have passed since the theft, but the salesman identifies Baker immediately. You never forget the exact face of the man who stole a Ferrari from you. FBI agents arrive at the doctor's house. They impound the vehicle. The doctor calls Baker in a total panic. He says there is a serious problem with the VIN. Baker acts suave and debonair. He wires the $375,000 back to the doctor. Shortly after, the FBI arrests Baker at his Kentucky home. The Ferrari is successfully recovered. It is placed into federal storage. Motors Insurance Group is notified of the discovery. They expect to take immediate possession of the expensive asset. But the Department of Justice holds the car. It is classified as critical evidence in an active federal investigation. The car sits isolated in a garage in Kentucky. Baker pleads guilty to the charges. He awaits federal sentencing. The case is effectively closed. The vehicle only needs to be transferred back to the rightful insurance company. This is where the story shifts abruptly from criminal audacity to institutional failure. It is the 27th of May, 2009. The FBI needs to move the car to a different storage facility. Standard operating procedure dictates the use of a bonded transport service, an enclosed flatbed truck, specially trained personnel. Instead, FBI Special Agent Frederick Kingston decides to drive it himself. He's accompanied by Assistant U.S. Attorney J. Hamilton Thompson. Thompson is the lead prosecutor assigned to the Baker case. They get into the F50. The massive engine starts. They pull out of the parking lot. A few seconds later, the car approaches a slight curve. The rear tires break traction completely. The car fishtails violently. Kingston attempts to quickly correct the slide. He lifts off the accelerator. The vehicle snaps sideways. It jumps a concrete curb. It crashes heavily into a row of bushes and a small tree. The carbon fiber chassis cracks. The expensive bodywork shatters. One of the rarest cars on the planet is completely totaled. The aftermath is a masterclass in bureaucratic deflection. Thompson writes an internal email detailing the crash. He claims they were only traveling at 40 miles per hour. He blames cold tires. The car is destroyed beyond repair. Motors Insurance Group files a massive claim with the Department of Justice. They demand $750,000 in direct compensation. The DOJ refuses to pay a single cent. They cite complex federal law. They argue that the government is not liable for private goods damaged while in the custody of law enforcement agencies. The insurance company files a federal lawsuit. The government fights it relentlessly. They possess unlimited legal resources. The insurance company does not. The government successfully shields its agents behind qualified immunity. They operate completely without consequence. Baker eventually goes to federal court. The man who stole millions of dollars in exotic cars receives a remarkably light sentence of just 8 months. He is allowed to serve his time just 2 days a week. He spends his weekends sitting in a cell. He spends his weekdays flying commercial airliners across the country. The system protects its own deeply. The pilot keeps his lucrative job. The federal agents keep their badges. The insurance company absorbs the total financial loss. Somewhere in a luxury car dealership, a clean-shaven man adjusts a Rolex on his wrist, waiting for the keys.